Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, I'm Louise Savage of LouiseSavidgeMuses, and welcome if you've not visited before. What you might notice is stop
Why
giggling.
are you so giddy?
I don't know, because I'm excited.
She's all giggling.
What you might notice is that I have a special guest today.
Under duress.
Under real duress.
Things I'll
I've
do
had
for
to
an
bribe
ice
him
cream.
with ice cream and everything.
3
come on.
flavours.
To talk about our holiday reads thus far, because the holiday isn't over, but we've read a few books.
Well, also, I just want to put in the disclaimer that I arrived later to this holiday, so I've had less time to read on holiday so far, but I'm staying, so we'll read more.
It's not a competition though. No, it really isn't. Just in case you're wondering about the backdrop, it's the beautiful town of Gaeta in Lazio in Italy, where we've been lucky enough to spend most of this week.
Today's a little bit cloudy. It has been blue skies mainly, but it's actually better for filming.
Yeah.
Although my hair is looking like it's part of the bush behind. This whole new no
never
product
mind.
Savage is a time.
Anyway, Simon, would you like to share with us one of the things that you have read so far this holiday?
Oh, okay. So the first book that I read technically on holiday was on the plane, and this is Blind Spot by Paula Hawkins, whose writing I enjoy very much. She wrote Girl on the Train, Into the Water, and A Slow Fire Burning. I can see it on the back. And quick reads are, I've been doing a vlog about quick reads for Sky Arts Book Club Extra, and so I've been reading all of them. And yeah, this one I read on the plane, and it was brilliant because I like a thriller on a plane, because I get nervous about flying, so I like something that will take me away from it. And this is about a woman who has, we find out that her husband has been murdered, and the man that she's sort of seeing, who she's been best friends with for years, may have done it. And then you read on to find out if it has, but we also realise that somebody is watching her all the time. And you might like this actually, because you love The Moth.
I do love The Moth.
And this has a podcast very like The Moth
Oh,
in
does it? Oh, right. That's the Moth Radio Hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I think Paula is better at longer form.
Right.
I think it's actually really hard to write something this short, especially a thriller. But I did really enjoy it. So that's
Are they reading agency books?
They are, and I am a consultant for the reading agency,
Oh, are you?
just to be fully transparent.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Mum
if I
has
knew
no
that.
idea what I do.
I don't know what he does.
She's not interested.
I don't know. Just
Not
like going on holiday with him, really. Just about bearable.
She just knows that I do booky things.
It's just about bearable.
Booky things.
So my first read, Simon, if you're remotely interested.
I am, but it's your channel, so you have to do the leading.
I know. Is
If it was my channel, I said, "Oh, Louise, what about you?"
I was going to say How to Build. It's not that. It's Build Your House Around My Body by
Kupersmith.
Kupersmith, yeah. And this is one of the books that's been long listed for the Women's Prize for Fiction. We made our long list predictions video. Shortlist predictions video even.
Over on a channel called Savage Reads.
It is over on that channel.
The original Savage Reads.
I hadn't... the original. The one and only. And I hadn't finished reading this at the time, and I've got really mixed feelings about this book.
I still haven't finished it.
Yeah, I mean, there were aspects of it that I absolutely loved. I think it's not even a Marmite book for me. I'm still on the fence a bit, because it's about two women who disappear in Vietnam at different sort of periods in relatively recent history. And there's lots of sort of it's filled with superstition and Vietnamese custom and
Myths and legends are sprinkled in, aren't they?
yeah, and I found all that really interesting. And I love, there's lots and lots of things about snakes in here. So if you've
The cover does suggest that might be the case.
But there's actually a two-headed snake, which I just found absolutely
That makes me think of
fascinating.
the spirit in Quake Meze's Freshwater. That's a two-headed snake.
Okay.
Quake Meze, one of my favourite
But
writers.
I found it quite confusing.
I did, which is, you know how we talked about in that video?
Yeah.
There's two timelines, and I couldn't sometimes work out which timeline was which, but also I just found it, slightly confusing.
I did get muddled with the voices, and I don't know whether actually maybe that was intentional.
Maybe.
I think that was possibly because it's almost like being in a dream state reading this. I can't quite explain it.
I found moments of it a little bit nightmare-y.
Yeah,
some
there
horror
are
in
some
there.
really horrific things, and not always plausible enough for me, I think, at times. So yeah, I've got really, I need to let it settle, I think. I probably will know how I feel about it in about 3 months' time.
Oh,
I think it's one of those.
I was going to say for your next wrap-up might be an idea.
No, nothing so prompt. You know me, I like to mull things over.
Next monthly wrap-up. No. 3 months' time, she'll let you know.
Simon?
Right, so I wanted to read something by an Italian author set in Italy while we were here. So this is my make or break for me and Elena Ferrante. Little does she know that. But I thought My Brilliant Friend was okay. I wasn't like massively big on it. And then I really didn't like her latest one, the title of which I've completely forgotten. But this I wanted to read before I see the film, because I love Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman's the lead in the film of, I should say it's The Lost Daughter. And I really liked it because it's a really dark, sharp, prickly novel about a woman who's on holiday in a beach club. And we did end up going to a beach club. Well, I went to a beach club
with nobody else in it.
With nobody else in it, including my mother, because she spent so long in the market shopping. But it was really nice to read that there, because it's very much set on this Italian beach club. She's from Italy, she's gone on holiday elsewhere in Italy, and it's how she kind of becomes obsessed with this mother and daughter and their family and their doll. But also as she does, we get like an unravelling of her as she's looking back at her relationship with her children, of whom she actually abandoned at one point. And it's so like spiky, and I just thought it was really, really good. And I've heard her shorter ones are more like that, so I think I'm going to head to more of the shorter ones. I also now really want to read Domenico Stanoni, who some say is married to Elena Ferrante and some say might be Elena Ferrante, because nobody still really knows who Elena Ferrante is.
There's a mystery about her as well.
So when we go to Rome, I'm heading straight to a bookshop to see if I can find some Domenico.
I have seen the film with Olivia Colman.
Now I am shocked by this, because I thought you were very much like me and are very much now I will read the book first.
I am, but I hadn't made the connection.
Oh.
And it was really interesting seeing you reading it, and you sort of chatting to me bits and bobs as you were reading it. It's made me definitely want to read it.
Just flicked through.
It sounds like the film's quite faithful to it as well.
I just flicked through the scene, shitting my pants and buttocks.
Oh, great.
So that gives you an idea. It's very much about like the rawness of what it's like, I would imagine, to be a mother.
Yeah.
And how it's a difficult job.
Yeah, and I think you're going to love the film, by the way.
Well, I love Olivia Colman, so probably,
Yeah. Now,
what about you, Louise?
Well,
tell us about another book.
Another book that I've read this week is Delphi by, I'm getting really bad at remembering my author names.
Where did you get this from?
I think you might have.
The lovely folk at Fig Tree sent us both a copy.
They did.
It's not out until July.
It says on the back, 28th of July 2022.
I had to count to 7.
Did you, love?
Still can't do that. 40 years old.
You can count to 7.
No, but I can't work out what month is like 7.
It's the way he was brought up. That's all I can say. So anyway, this is Delphi by Clare Pollard. I have not read anything by her before. It's not a debut novel, is it? I think she's
a poet.
She's a poet, that's right.
But I think this is her first novel.
Her first actual novel, yeah. And I love this book. I think this is going to be one of my favourite books of the year. I absolutely adored it.
I'm just checking on the lighting. Sorry, everyone. There we go.
It's good I've got a professional with me. So basically, it's a woman who wants to go to Delphi, which is a place in Greece where the Oracle of Apollo was.
You say that this place, I really want to go with you because you're not into spooky dooky, supernaturally religious-y things. I'm kind of into spooky stuff. But you say there is like a hum to it.
There is. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth, I think. And you do get a sense
my
of
head. I'm sorry, everyone.
and you do get a sense of this. I can fully understand religion and spirituality when I'm at Delphi. I kind of get it, which I don't a lot of the time.
What's it about, though?
So it's about this woman who has a son, husband, and they're living through the pandemic. And she she wants to go to Delphi, so that's kind of the connection. But she's also really interested in and researching prophecy. So each chapter is a different type of prophecy. So like augury, for example, which is predicting the future by the flight paths of birds. And somehow that gets wound into the narrative. But it's just a brilliant commentary. I hadn't expected that. I thought I was going off to Delphi on some, but it's not that at all.
An excursion.
It's actually an exploration of the psychological impact of the pandemic, and particularly the impact on her relationship with her husband.
Oh.
Because they're both working from home.
Non-fiction-y.
It's not, though.
Oh, okay, sorry, it's a character going through it.
But I know what you mean, it's a character going through it, yeah. And her child, and the child is asthmatic and has all sorts of... So it's the claustrophobia of the pandemic, and it is hilarious in places. It really taps into my sort of response to the political and sort of national response to the pandemic, and I just think it's utterly brilliant. It reminded me a little bit of the book that was longlisted last year for the Women's Prize, Patricia...
Oh, Lockwood.
What was that book called?
See, that slightly put me off. Everybody's talking about this or something.
Yeah, because I think, with no disrespect to that book, I think this is a superior reflection on similar aspects of the way we live currently.
Is it quite vignette-y, I've heard?
I would say so. The chapters are very short.
I like a vignette book.
It's not a long read, and I was laughing so much when I was reading it, and I read bits out to my husband as I was reading it, so he's now started reading it and is, I think, enjoying it. So yeah, I think this, and it's unusual. It's not. I know I've said it's a little bit like that, Patricia Lockwood, but it's not really like anything else I've read before.
Well, they say there's nothing new under the sun now, don't they? Speaking of which, I'm going to drop us down just a tiny bit, and then there we go. That's lovely.
Gosh. Next up, more. Simon.
So I am reading, and I've had a little bit of a pause from it because it's very dark in terms of its subject matter. Blue Hour by Sarah Schmidt, who I should say for transparency is a friend of mine, and who I got to know after she wrote See What I Have Done, which was her debut novel, all about Lizzie Borden, a fictional account of Lizzie Borden. This is very different. This is set in Australia, around the Blue Mountains, and we meet Elena, first of all, who is fleeing from her husband Leon, and she's taking her daughter Amy with her, and they're having to escape very quietly and drive off, and she's terrified she's going to see the lights of his car in the reflection. And then we skip to Kitty back in the Second World War, as she meets a man called George and sort of has this love affair before he goes to war, and then she meets him when she's a nurse at a psychiatric ward several years later when he comes back. They are Eleanor's parents, and some really dark stuff happens. You get a real insight that Eleanor and Kitty's relationship, mothers and daughters again, is really, really difficult. And Kitty is an exceptionally difficult character, but we learn why. And I've twigged something in Eleanor's storyline, if I'm right, is horrific, but also something really horrific has just happened to Kitty.
Oh gosh.
And now I understand why she has an issue with Eleanor. So it's really, really fascinating. And Sarah Schmidt, I think her last one was really gripping, and it's kind of book where you could feel the dirt under people's nails, and you could feel the dirt around their house, and in Lizzie Borden's house. This is very much the same. It's all about almost like the nasty elements of people's personalities, but why they do that and why people become flinty. And you see characters say things that are so wicked to each other.
And do you empathise?
Not empathise, but you
understand.
You
know
that we've all had those thoughts.
Yeah, okay.
We don't necessarily voice
empathise.
them. I don't know if I empathise with them. I understand them, but I wouldn't say I empathise with them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Yeah. Anyway, it's very, very, very good, and that is out in
That
July
sounds brilliant.
too.
I like the sound of the Lizzie Borden one. What was that called again?
See What I've Done, which was also longlisted for the Women's Prize. Before we used to read it together. Anyway, Louise.
So next up for me is a real favourite of mine. So this is...
You've talked about this quite a bit on your channel, what I've watched.
I've talked about it once.
No, you've definitely talked about it more
I've
than
mentioned
once.
him before, perhaps a couple of times.
In the comments below, please say which one of them is right.
Do you want to have an argument? No, I think Simon probably is right.
With that.
But anyway, so this is a grand tour of the Roman Empire, and it is not disappointing me at all. So this is written by a Cambridge lecturer called Jerry Toner, who is, researches the ancient world, and basically he has this alter ego called Falx, Marcus Sidonius Falx, I think his name is. Yes, it is.
Correct.
And Falx is this quite sort of snooty, very self-assured, wealthy Roman, and he's embarked on his travels across the Roman world. And what was lovely about this was that I was reading it, and in the first chapter he travels to Formiae, which we are actually looking at across the bay there. So it seems very current. He goes down to Naples, and it's just full of, I love the character of Marcus Sidonius Falx, but also it's just a wonderful way to learn ancient history, because although it's fictional, it's so well researched, and every chapter has a commentary afterwards, which kind of, you can read or not depending on your mood, but it sort of explains what sources he's got the information from and validates the text. So I just love it. I mean, things like, Julius Caesar went on campaign and took his mosaics with him. Who knew?
She's been telling us all sorts this week. And one thing that was really interesting was you mentioned there's a tunnel that they go through near here.
Yeah.
That had, it goes through the mountain that had windows in it. And the train here, you go through a tunnel that has windows in it looking out over the sea. That's quite... So it's like you feel the history.
Yes.
I'm feeling the history technically through Mum because she's telling me a lot of it. I feel like I've read some of that book.
It's a hard life, isn't it, Simon?
But
I don't know how you
actually,
cope.
I've realised that I forgot to bring a book because I was going to make a thing about it. So one of the books that I've started, that I've left in the other room, I need to keep some mystique, was SPQR by Mary Beard. And I nearly passed out when I found out Mum hasn't read it. And I was like,
I've got it at home.
I was like, WTF?
I know.
And I was going to bring it back when you read the prologue. So I didn't feel it would really count.
Oh, okay.
And actually, this one I've only read like a couple of short stories out of. This final one, the ones I want to talk about, which is Things We Do Not Tell the People We Love by Huma Qureshi. And this is a short story collection that I have heard so many people raving about. And so far, I've also been to the market to buy strawberries so that I can take an Instagram picture with it. Which
I love them. They're kind of
may see.
metallic strawberries.
I know. These didn't end up on the cover of the final version. I was really shocked.
Why not?
The final version is really floral. Anyway, so far, what is going on in this street?
I know. I don't know if you can hear it. It's not the street. There's a music school in an old church.
Well, if somebody's
just
singing
near
like
where we
that,
are.
then they need some serious
They're
lessons.
not. They're practicing the words. So it's a choir of children and they're rehearsing.
Sounds like demons. Anyway,
It doesn't to me. It sounds lovely to me. Anyway.
Wow, sounds like the sirens from hell. Anyway, so far I'm a bit about it.
Oh, okay.
That's how I feel, but I think it's going to get better because I did see Jane Campbell talking about it, and she said that the first couple weren't probably the best.
I always find that with short story
But you shouldn't do that. You should start with an absolute zinger.
Yeah, you should.
And then,
no, what I meant was...
In fact, all stories should be zingers in the collection. That's
they should,
what we
and I think that's really difficult to achieve because even people like Margaret Atwood, I'll read an entire collection of her short stories.
M.A.
I know, and one of them will probably be one that I really like.
But...
And no, honestly, I do think it's hard. I'm being honest.
No, I was just about to say some of my experience in the short story collection. No. No, Simon.
Do share.
So there are some collections like Caris Davis or Lucy Wood where I've loved every single one. Those collections are few and far between. I generally believe if I like 2/3 of it, it's a good collection.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would think it's stonking.
No, Louise.
Yes, Simon.
I almost want to shout custard.
Don't do that. Don't shout custard. So anyway,
Mum wouldn't let
last
me get a
up for
sample
me.
of an ice cream.
Oh, last up for
Still
me.
talking about it.
Stop talking.
Louise, tell me about this.
I'm going to. If you let me get a word in. So this is Elizabeth Jane Howard, The Light Years, and it's the first of, I don't know how to say it, Cazalet, I think. Chronicles, it might be Cazalet, I'm not sure. Could be Cazalet, could be. But anyway, when I when I did my little video about the books I was packing for my holidays.
It wasn't a little video, it was a great video. Don't put yourself down.
Stop it.
Don't call it a little video.
I got a lot of
video.
comments about this. There's obviously a lot of love for this out in the world. And actually, now I'm reading it, I'm so shocked that I've never read it before.
I think you can say so shocked that people love it.
No, I've just, it's a perfect book for a holiday. I'm absolutely, completely
family
engrossed.
saga, isn't it?
It is a big family saga.
First of all.
It's set in the 1930s, 1937 it starts. I'm now on 1938. I've nearly finished it. And it's the sort of prelude to the war, but it's not really, well, so far, certainly it's definitely not a war novel. But it is looking at, you're getting distracted by the singing.
But it's not singing.
All right, the chanting.
It's not even chanting, it's harbinging of death.
Can I talk about the book?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, and it's this very sort of wealthy family. They have this huge house where the whole family, all the brothers and sisters and grandchildren, etc., they go there every summer, every Christmas, and so you get to meet this whole huge cast of characters. But it includes people like the cook and some of the servants, and there's a very sort of down at heel teacher, governess in inverted commas, who educates 3 of the girls in the family. And it's just a wonderful exploration of the impact of the build-up to the war on this family. And some of the things are really shocking. I've just read a scene, for example, where the matriarch of the family is told that her husband has ordered 24 bunk beds. She had no idea they were arriving in this. They've arrived in this truck. And she's no idea why they're there, and somebody says, well, perhaps it's for evacuees, and she's saying, well, oh, how awful, and how terrible that is, but it wouldn't be as bad as when he invited the cricket club to stay, and her reaction is just so shocking, deeply shocking. And I'm just fascinated by it. So it was written in the 1990s, and there's a lesbian couple in here. There are children who are sort of exploring, she writes from the point of view of teenagers and young children extremely well, them trying to get to grips with relationships and the world around them. I just, all the world is in here, almost. And I just found it really fascinating.
Elizabeth Day loves those books. I have heard. Who else do I think loves it? Oh, the Duchess of Cornwall.
Oh, right, okay.
She does them. She did them for her book club.
Yeah, and the writing's beautiful. The writing's wonderful.
I've meant to read it for ages. They've just reissued them now. I love these editions, but they've just reissued them with some proper ugly ones.
If one of the reasons I've never read them is because they look so and this sounds awful, but they look quite girly.
Oh no, but I like that.
Well, I was lukewarm.
I like that.
This is a second-hand one.
I'll show you the latest one. It's atrocious.
Yeah.
Like that
Anyway,
singing.
Simon, thank you very much.
Oh, it's been an absolute
for
pleasure and a treat.
My channel.
I'm looking forward to the 3 scoops of ice cream I get in reward.
3? Is that all?
just the 3.
It was lovely to have your company. I think it's the second time you've been on my channel, actually.
Yeah, it is.
What a delight
And the
for
last.
me, and hopefully for the viewers. And I'm not going to edit our spats.
Spat.
I know.
It's just bickering.
The bickering. That's a good way of putting it.
I've now got to show Mum how to the magic of uploading this all from her phone.
I know. I don't know how to do this on the phone.
She's going to be so
excited.
2022.
I am.
It's very exciting.
At some point.
That's it literally
Anyway.
now. Anyway.
Take care, everybody. Till the next time. Bye.
Bye.